Hey, what's going on everyone? Appreciate y'all coming here and checking out this Fallout 76 video. In this one, I'm going to be covering 20 insane little details around the game. Looking forward to seeing your feedback over this video. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into all of this. The first details I'll be going over will be of the Whitespring Resort and how accurate the developers got it in-game compared to real life. The Whitespring Resort is actually called the Greenbrier in real life and is located in West Virginia White Sulphur Springs. They got the name White Sulphur Springs from the sulfur springs that are located around the place. So it seems like that's how Bethesda came up with the name Whitespring Resort. They named it similar to where the building is located at in real life. As you can see, here's how the front of the Whitespring Resort looks like in real life compared to in-game. I gotta say, the developers nailed this. Not only did they do a great job implementing the building in-game, but they also did a great job implementing the landscaping too. Keep in mind, I visited here when it was cold, so the flowers weren't bloomed quite yet, and there were no leaves on the trees at the time either. But either way, as you can see, it is set up extremely similar to in-game. Anyways, here's how it looks like at night as well. And this is how it looks like in the game. Once again, Bethesda did a phenomenal job implementing all of this. They even added the Greenbrier transportation buses in-game. Actually, this one I saw in real life was parked around the same area as the one you see in-game. And that's because that's one of the areas they go to drop people off at the Greenbrier. But yeah, now let's go ahead and check out the back of the building. As you can see, this is what it looks like in Fallout 76. And here's what it looks like compared to real life. Gotta say, once again, they nailed it. Absolutely amazing how accurate Bethesda got this building. Here's another point of view of the back of the building. As you also might have noticed, they even got the Greenbrier shuttle bus in the same spot once again too, back here. This is where it would arrive to pick up and drop off people. But yeah, another insane detail is how they set up the monument that's out back of the building too. They also got this pretty accurate in-game as well. It just doesn't say the exact same thing. I will say it is kind of hard to make out what it says in game, but as you see, it states from 1858 to 2058, the Whitespring, jewel of the mountains, commemorating 2 centuries of exceptional hospitality for the most distinguished and discerning guests. For generations, presidents and royalty, generals and statesmen, executives and scholars, ladies and gentlemen of worth have taken refuge here, amid the pristine Appalachian wilderness. May Whitespring's healing waters ever be a balm for the trials of the wider world. So yeah, that's what it states and looks like in game. Here's what it looks like in states in real life. As you can see, from 1858 to 1922, here stood a famous hostelry affectionately known as the Old White. Once the pride of the Old Dominion, whose gracious hospitality, beautiful surroundings, and healing waters gained national renown and made it the object of many a pilgrimage. Here gathered from the north and south great generals, famous statesmen and philanthropists, lovely ladies, and reigning belles who left upon the silent shore of memory images and precious thoughts that shall not die and cannot be destroyed. Erected by its successor, the Greenbrier, 1940. So yeah, it's pretty similar to what it says on the monument too. Definitely a detail that could be easily overlooked. But yeah, now let's go ahead and head on over to the spring house where the sulfur spring well is located at. That's located right over here across the street from the back of the building. This gravel path will lead over to the well. As you can see, here it is. This is what it looks like in game. And here's what it looks like at the actual place. The statue and all is at the top. Absolutely insane how they implemented all of this detail in game to look just like in real life. It's pretty mind-blowing. Bethesda did an amazing job with details.
Go. Oh. Oh. Fall out.
So yeah, as you heard, there's also an echo that you'll get while being around in this area. And I will say also, it absolutely stinks around this well too. That's something you don't get to experience in game, of course. But yeah, something else interesting about this place in game is that it actually does have healing water for you. As we read from that monument and learned about this place having healing waters, if you go up and drink out of this water fountain specifically, the sulfur water fountain that's found around the well, it'll actually heal your diseases that you have when you drink it. So yeah, pretty convenient to come here if you don't have anything to take care of your diseases. And hey, even if you do, this is a way to save so you don't have to use an item to take care of your diseases. But yeah, anyways, now let's go ahead and head on over to the fire station that's outside the Greenbrier. As you can see, here's what it looks like in game, and here's what it looks like at the actual place. Gotta say, they got it pretty spot on. It's just a smaller building with less space and garage doors, and it doesn't have fire department vehicles inside. It just has fire rescue robots in game. But yeah, not only did the developers get the outside of this place accurate, they also nailed the inside too. Let's go ahead and head on in and take a look at how they did. As you can see, here's a quick tour of going this route when entering through the front entrance of the Whitespring Resort. As you can see, this is what it currently looks like passing by the shops in game. I know this place is going to change up when we officially get the Pit DLC, so I figured covering this now before the update while it's more empty would be best. But yeah, anyways, here's how it looks in real life, taking the same route past the shops. I gotta say, when I actually traveled here for my first time, it felt like I had already been here because of playing around in this area in game. Like I already knew where pretty much everything was around the Greenbrier, and I'd never even been there before. It's seriously insane how accurate they got this place compared to real life. You could tell the developers paid close attention to all of the details around to implement them in the game so accurately. I mean, I gotta hand it to them. They did an amazing job with this. Of course, in the game, things are more condensed compared to real life, but that's because if things were exactly accurate with distance too, let's just say it would take so long to travel to areas around the game. And not to mention, the download size would be ridiculously huge. So having things more compact in game, makes complete sense. They even added the furniture and decorations you can find at the Greenbrier in the game, such as the unique mirrors are exactly where you can find them at the front entrance. I mean, as you can see here, you can find them set up exactly the same while being there in real life. And the unique trash cans you can find around this place are inspired from the Greenbrier too. Another example would be these chairs right here next to this lamp. They're set up the exact same way as you would see them at the actual place. But yeah, that's just to show a few examples. I'm not going to sit here and show you every single detail that they got right inside of here, but let's just say Bethesda pretty much added everything you would see at the actual place in game. Yeah, sure, it may not look exactly identical, but for the most part, they definitely did a great job implementing all of this in game. And also, for those of you that are wondering, as some of you know, there is a nuclear bunker underneath the Whitespring Resort. Well, there's also a nuclear bunker underneath of it in real life, too. You can actually do tours of it. Unfortunately, however, you're not able to record down there, so I wasn't able to get any footage of the actual bunker. However, there is one that's underneath this place. So Bethesda also got that accurate too. It was actually kept secret from the public for quite some time. Only certain higher up people knew about the bunker in real life in case of an emergency popping off, such as like Congress members and the president. Kind of crazy to think about. It was kept a secret right underneath people's noses that came here and visited. The people who were staying here to visit or whatever wasn't even aware that there was a nuclear bunker underneath of them. Pretty insane. Alrighty, so that's enough of showing off Bethesda's hard work at the Whitespring Resort in this video. Let's go ahead and now show off some more details elsewhere. Let's go ahead and head on over now to the Mount Blair train yard that's located in the Ash Heap region. Something I wanted to show you that's over here will be located over in this building that has a staircase on the outside of it. All we'll have to do is head up the flight of stairs, and these will lead you into a room with a Skyrim reference. You can find the Skyrim reference over here on this desk. As you can see, you can find blocks on this desk that spell out "We Know," and you can see the Dark Brotherhood symbol on this picture frame. This is a reference to when we joined the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. In case you don't know, we had to take out Grella the Kind, who, well, to say the least, wasn't so kind, for Aventus. And yeah, when we assassinated her and then went back to Aventus to let him know that we took her out, a little while afterwards, a courier approaches us with a mysterious note. And on the mysterious note, it has the Dark Brotherhood hand symbol, and underneath it, it states "We Know." So yeah, pretty interesting to see this reference in Fallout 76. It makes me wonder if we'll ever be able to actually encounter them in the game. Gotta say, that would be pretty neat. Anyways, there's actually another Dark Brotherhood reference that we can find over here, right by Silva Homestead. We can find another one of their hand symbols right down here on this rock next to this drain. As you can see, it's located right by this machete. So it seems like they might have got whoever this was here next to this drain. Pretty interesting. The next one that I wanted to show y'all will be another Skyrim reference, and this one will be located right over here on the path to Vault 96. When you get over here, you'll find this tractor hauling this wagon with 3 people tied up inside of the wagon. This is actually a reference to Skyrim's opening scene.
Hey, you're finally awake. You were trying to cross the border, right? Walked right into that Imperial ambush, same as us, and that thief over there.
Yeah, that scene. Hey, you're finally awake. Obviously, though, in Skyrim, it wasn't a tractor hauling them, but still, nonetheless, a very interesting little reference the developers added into the game. That was a very iconic scene. And ironically, to kind of go with the Easter egg here, this is also a place where you'll randomly wake up at after blacking out from drinking Nukeshine. Anyways, this next thing that I wanted to get into is how you can watch the nukes you set off at Site Alpha, Site Bravo, or Site Charlie around the map. You can literally watch them first come out of the hatch into the Wasteland. There's loads of smoke that come out of the hatch when they first launch, which makes sense. So on that note, it is better to be further away to get a better view of it. Not to mention, something insane is you can even see the pieces fall off the missile too for it to get better navigation. Now that is some serious detail the developers added to this. I guess I should add that if you do want to watch the nukes launch for yourself, all you got to do is head to the exits after first launching the nuke, which the exit is a porta potty elevator. This will take you back up to the surface, and in case you're wondering, no, unfortunately, you can't take this porta potty elevator back down to skip getting through the whole silo. I will say that would be pretty handy, but no. It doesn't work like that. You can only use it to exit. But yeah, the developers did set this up where you can watch the nuke easily come out of the hatch, because nearby each porta potty elevator that you use to exit out of the silo, you can find the hatch that the nuke comes out of nearby. You just gotta hope you get through the loading screen fast enough to see it come out of the hatch. Site Alpha, Site Bravo, and Site Charlie will all have different views of the hatch for you nearby when you exit to the surface using the porta potty elevator. But yeah, not only can you watch the nuke take off and lose its parts to get better navigation, you can of course see the nuke drop and explode too. Which I gotta say, the developers truly outdid themselves with the whole nuking experience in this game. The explosion literally makes a huge mushroom cloud, as you can see. That is insane. Anyway, something else pretty neat about nuking is how the human NPCs will put on hazmat suits if they're in a nuke zone. As you can see here for some examples, if you nuke over at the raider settlements, all of the raiders will be wearing hazmat suits around in the settlement. And if you nuke over at the settlers settlement, the same thing will happen. All the settlers will be all wearing hazmat suits for their protection in a nuke zone from radiation. And same goes for the cultists too. Since they are human NPCs, they are also affected by radiation, so they'll put on a hazmat suit too for their protection. Just to show y'all another example of this feature in action, the Blood Eagles will also put on hazmat suits too. But yeah, pretty cool how Bethesda made it so the human NPCs in the game will actually put on hazmat suits for their protection from radiation. Alright, so this next one I wanted to get into is a secret faction headquarters that you can only access when wearing a veil. This faction is called the Order of Mistresses of Mystery. You acquire the veil from one of the dead faction members that are laying around the Wasteland. One place you can find one of the dead members to get the veil will be located right here above the mountainside bed and breakfast. As you can see, it'll be labeled Worn Veil that you can pick up from her. Be sure to also pick up the damaged holotape as well, because that's how you'll start the faction's questline. From Vault 76, this is exactly where you can find one of the dead members' bodies at, right above, once again, Mountainside Bed and Breakfast. Once you have it, you'll just have to head to the Riverside Manor, and once you enter from the front entrance of the manor, you'll just have to head left through this room. And right over here is where you can use the veil to open up the secret entrance that leads down into the faction's headquarters.
Welcome, Initiate. Please proceed to a terminal for registration.
Also, another neat detail is you can only get through the laser grids down here by wearing the veil, which is altogether a really awesome secret Bethesda added. There's actually a pretty lengthy questline that involves this faction you can do too after acquiring the damaged holotape and the Worn Veil from one of the dead members you can find around in the Wasteland. Definitely recommend checking it out if you haven't. Another interesting secret detail they added is a way you can get down into their headquarters faster. Instead of entering into the Riverside Manor, if you head this way up the road from the manor, you'll find these Pulowski preservation shelters. However, these aren't normal Pulowski preservation shelters though. They are actually secret elevators that lead down into their headquarters, which I gotta say, these would be pretty neat to have as an entrance to inside our vaults at our camps. I'm surprised Bethesda haven't made these a thing to be rewarded from like the scoreboard or something. Keep in mind though, when you do take this way down into their headquarters, you'll still need to wear the veil to get fully inside their base, because there will be some more laser grids you'll have to pass through, and as I mentioned before, Bethesda made it so you can only pass through the laser grids down here while wearing the veil. Could you imagine if Bethesda made something like this that we could place at our camps, where we'd have to wear something specific to gain access into our base? That'd be something pretty cool too for our camps. But yeah, I guess that's wrapping up this video over these insane details in game. Hope you all found this enjoyable and you learned something new from this. Consider leaving a like if you'd like me to continue this kind of content. I'm out of here though, everyone. As always, thanks for taking the time, watching and listening. Until next time, peace.